p.m. here on WeFM 99.9. Your health matters. Ask Dr. Thompson any burning question you have related to health. Your health matters. Dr. Thompson will examine healthcare, highlight important environmental issues, and look at what's hot in science and technology and the next wave of emerging diseases and health trends. So this and every Wednesday, join us 8 to 9 p.m. on BFM 99.9 because your health matters.
People's Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical, skin, and body care needs. Located on Grenville Street in Kingstown. They open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday. Call them today at 784-456-1170. People's Pharmacy also stock vitamins and supplements, personal care items, toiletries, children and adult pampers, and much, much more. And of course, get your prescriptions filled by a friendly and professional pharmacist. People's Pharmacy. Come in today and let us serve you.
Good evening to you. Season's greetings to everybody. I wished everybody a Merry Christmas last Wednesday. Now we have passed Christmas, and I must wish you a Happy New Year. Happy 2024. I know 2024 is going to be a very, very interesting year. Now, a number of you may be wondering, Gerald, what are you doing in the studio? You know, Kamal, I'm sure some people ask me, what am I doing in the studio on the 27th of December? Because some people know that today happens to be my birthday. Today happens to be my birthday. Now, don't worry, I'm not in the habit of wishing myself happy birthday. And I don't want a flood of calls, people calling, wishing me happy birthday or so. Birthdays for me are usually a quiet affair. Matter of fact, after the show, I had a comment today, and the night is still young, put it that way. But this evening, I am here doing the duty, the last show of the year, and next year, I don't know what date it's going to be because I've missed a few dates. I'll be going through my 500th show on WeFM. Last week, I did thank WeFM for the award and honor they paid to me at the Christmas celebration for contribution to radio and to WeFM and so forth. I really appreciate that. But I'm here because the show really must go on. And it is interactive. It's for you to call in, even though at this time of the year that you're busy still eating ham, still eating black cake, still eating all sorts of things, all that black wine and so forth that people still drink a lot of black wine. I don't know. Somebody gave me a bottle of champagne. And I tell you something, I opened it a couple of days ago, and I tell you, it really tastes good. I've got to really look at the bottle and find out where that came from. I've got to get probably another bottle. I'm not an alcoholic drinker, but that one tastes damn good. Let me tell you that. Hit the spot. Remember, 457-9997, WhatsApp 457-9997, you Digicel 532-9997. We always looking to take your call, take any interruption. I met somebody yesterday who said that they're always listening to the show. And they really appreciate it. And they wanted me to talk a little more about how diseases can be prevented. I said, that's interesting. I did plan on doing a show. So I fast forward something I was planning to do early 2024 to doing it tonight. And it's something that is very dear to me. Chronic kidney disease. How can you prevent it? How can you prevent kidney disease? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about this evening. I'll go through it quickly. If you want to ask any questions on that subject or any other subject, that's what we're going to talk about. Now, you got to know that your kidneys, you have two of them. They're like fist size. This is about the size of your kidney, each kidney. The left one on the left side and the other one on the right side. Now, where are they? They're inside your belly, to the side and more to the back. Your left kidney is to the back. Your right kidney is to the right back. Simple. And they're fist size. And they're fitting just under your rib cage, but inside your belly, not inside your chest, but inside your belly. And kidneys are important to your body. You know, there are other organs that are important too: your brain, your lungs, your heart, your liver, but your kidneys, oh, I forgot, your reproductive organs. You know what I mean? They're very important. Oh, yeah, very important. But boy, your kidneys are so critical. Their main function is that blood passes through the kidneys, and the kidneys serve as a filter to extract waste products from your blood. And the waste product that the kidneys soak up and sponge up and extract from your blood, it sends it down as urine into your bladder. You hear that? So your kidneys is like a filter. You know, on a car, you have an air filter or an oil filter, or in terms of a drain, you may have a filter in your drain to catch hair and so forth. You know what I mean? So that soap and thing don't get down and clog up that drain. Well, your kidneys are predominantly like a filter, and the filtered material is going to be sent down tubes from the kidneys. These tubes will allow urine, which is the filtered material, go down into your bladder, and your bladder will hold it for a while. And then when your bladder is full, then you urinate, then you pee. You understand? You understand? Yeah, and it goes out. So the kidneys are important. Now, your kidneys also help in a number of other ways. Have you heard of vitamin D? Vitamin D is now becoming such a big thing. It's important not for your bones alone, but also for your immune system, or for other things. And vitamin D is really important. It's an important hormone. And the kidneys is one of the organs that activates your vitamin D. And the kidneys also help to deal with your blood, your red blood production, and the acidity of your body. You don't want your body to be too acidic. You don't want it to be not acidic enough. The kidneys helps to keep it in that right balance. And if somebody develops kidney disease, what I call chronic kidney disease, then problems start to develop. So, you know, kidneys can get damaged. You can get a blow to them. There can be an infection. There can be all sorts of things. But I can tell you, kidney disease is becoming one of the fastest growing illnesses out today, which is resulting in people having to receive dialysis. And thank God, but up in Georgetown, they got some good dialysis stuff. Another company in Beachmount has some excellent dialysis stuff. Just something like 10, 12 years ago, we never had those sort of things. And people with chronic kidney disease who needed dialysis had to travel to other countries, if they didn't have the money, Crapo smoke their pipe. They would go down the tube very fast and die. Now, dialysis, you could be put on machines that could help to things. But that person asked me to talk about how can we prevent disease, not treat disease. How can we prevent disease? And so preventing chronic kidney disease is very important. Now, when I say chronic, you can have a sudden acute kidney disease. If you have a kidney infection, that's acute kidney disease. Or if something happens to your kidneys, it's an acute kidney, and then you recover from it, that's fine. What you don't want is chronic kidney disease that's been there simmering for weeks, for months, for years. You don't know. Nobody's doing anything about it. You ain't seeing no doctor. You ain't bothering the doctor because you ain't think nothing is wrong. And finally, when you go to a doctor because something definitely appears to be wrong, he tells you you have chronic kidney disease. You wonder, what? When did that happen? You say, wait, that must have started 4 years ago, 5 years ago. You did nothing about it. You didn't detect it because you probably are not a person who likes going to the doctor. You don't like people like me. You understand? Come on. I know you don't like people like me. You don't go to the doctor either, right? I tell you, Kabal, so, you know, he doesn't go to the doctor. He doesn't like people like me. You know what I mean? And chronic kidney disease is something that is preventable. When it does occur, remember I was saying the kidney is like a filter? Imagine if that filter in your bathroom or your sink and you're washing your hair isn't working. All that hair that you have is coming out and going down there. All that greasy soap, all that stuff going on is going to block up the drain at some point in time. Or in your car, if you ain't changed the oil and all that kind of thing, the oil filter, the gas filter, the air filter, come out. Have you had any of those problems ever? Huh? Oil filter, gas filter, air filter. Boy, I tell you something. You got to make sure these filters are working properly, or it can be very expensive. And the same, if your kidney filter, the filter of your body isn't working properly, then boy, you will end up problem. But you may not know about it unless you check it regularly. And why I'm saying it's one of the fastest growing diseases is largely because some of the causes of kidney disease are some of the fastest growing illnesses too. I'm talking about sugar and pressure. Sugar and pressure are so fast growing. And what is sugar going to end up leading to? Usually at some stage, chronic kidney disease. What is high blood pressure going to lead to? What is pressure going to lead to at some stage? Chronic kidney disease. What is having a double whammy? Having both pressure and sugar at the same time. What is it going to lead to? It's going to lead to fast development of chronic kidney disease. So this is where we have to, but I want to talk about other causes, and we come back to diabetes and so at the same time. So how do you keep your kidneys healthy? That's a critical question. How do you keep your kidneys healthy? Well, there are 8 ways you can care for your kidneys. Let's start off that way. The first is you have to know. You have to know. By knowing means you get tested for kidney disease. Many people don't know they have kidney disease because symptoms are not typically noticeable until it is very late. You don't get that many symptoms or you don't notice certain things in the early stages. You need to pick it up in the early stage so you can correct it. So getting tested is the first thing. Then the next thing is you have to regularly monitor your blood pressure. If you see some people taking blood pressure on the street and there's a line there, you might be number 4. Wait, check your pressure. If you have your own device at home, everybody knows a nurse, everybody knows somebody, or just go to the doctor regularly and get your pressure checked at least once a year. And that will be, don't let 4 or 5 years. How many of you out there have not seen a doctor for 5 years? For 6 years? You say the doctor ain't trouble you, so you ain't troubling the doctor. You know what I mean? Monitor your blood pressure. Then, are you a person who exercises regularly? Well, that's important. Then I should have said this at number 3 instead of exercise, but I put exercise as number 3. Number 4, manage your blood sugar. Watch your blood sugar. Anybody who's able to manage their blood sugar, you have a better chance of preventing diabetes, or if you do have diabetes, the effects of diabetes on your kidney. Most diabetics will be okay, but because they do not manage their blood sugar properly, because they throw caution to the wind, because they don't follow it enough, because they allow their blood sugar to be high and don't manage it properly, chronic kidney disease develops. You have to eat a balanced diet. I'll come to that later. You have to stay well hydrated. Oh boy. You know, staying hydrated, in other words, drinking sufficient amount of water is really critical. If you don't drink water, your blood is going to get a little thicker, and it's going to be harder for your kidney to filter that thicker, syrupy blood. So drinking water helps. I don't need to say stop smoking. There's substances in cigarette, and if you're a secondhand smoker, in other words, the person nearest to you, your significant other, your husband, your wife, smokes and smokes around you, you could have secondhand smoke. And there's substances in the cigarette smoke, certain toxic substances that have an impact on the kidneys. And then I want to make this very carefully. Limit over-the-counter medication. Limit OTC medication use. This is where you are self-medicating the number of over-the-counter medication that can have a profound negative effect on the kidneys if they're taken excessively or if they're not managed. So chronic kidney disease cannot always be prevented, but you can take steps to reduce the chances of getting this condition. I'm not saying it can be prevented, but you can reduce the chance. And here are some advice in terms of really managing this. It will sound similar to what I've just said. I'm going to go into detail. So now, if you have a long-term condition like chronic kidney disease, right? So you have a long-term condition that can lead to chronic kidney disease, I have mentioned to you that 2 of these conditions are notorious: diabetes and high blood pressure. And I want you to understand diabetes and high blood pressure, whether you have one of them or you have both of them, they are going to end up after 15, 20 years developing some sort of kidney damage. Diabetes affects the very small, tiny blood vessels that go to the kidneys. And imagine the kidneys are not getting enough nutrients and blood to its tissue. So it can't do its job. Your kidneys then start to shrivel up. Instead of your kidneys looking like a fist, or looking like the size of an avocado, guess what? They start getting down to being the size of an avocado seed. So the kidneys being the size of your fist or like the size of a good avocado, start to get smaller and shrivel up in diabetes and get into the size of an avocado seed, which is much smaller. High blood pressure, on the other hand, the pressure going through the kidneys. You've heard me do this before. The pressure going through the kidneys, high pressure, bang, bang, all that damage, all that impact, pressure, boom, boom. You know, if somebody slapping me in my face, somebody slapping my face like this, gosh, I'm going to feel it. And if they slap me 100 times, you might even start seeing some swelling. If I gas slap you 1,000 times, 10,000 times, my face doesn't get bruised. Consider the kidneys getting walloped by high pressure, pumping blood into the kidneys. Pudum, pudum, pudum. Those poor kidneys can't handle that. The kidneys that you want more. 1, 2. That kind of beat, come on. You know, but if it's getting bodo, bodo, boom, boom. Poor kidneys can't handle that. And high blood pressure gives you big blood vessel disease. Boom, bam. And sadly, if you have both of them, diabetes giving you small blood vessel disease, damaging the small blood vessels, and high blood pressure giving you big blood pressure disease, boom, high pressure, blood being pumped into your kidneys, and your kidneys can handle it. You're getting a combined effect, small blood vessel damage, large blood vessel damage, the kidneys starts going down the tube fast. So that's diabetes, hypertension. What if on top of that, you are a smoker? You have diabetes, you have high blood pressure. What if in addition, you're a smoker? Smoking increases your risk of heart disease, of cardiovascular disease, heart attack, strokes, and also kidney damage. Stopping smoking will improve your general health and reduce your risk from these serious conditions. The conditions, diabetes is still going to give you a problem, but smoking on top of that is going to accelerate the damage even more. Let me say this again, come on. Having diabetes alone, having pressure alone, those two things are notorious for causing chronic kidney damage. Having both of them together is even worse. But having both of them together, even one of them, and you're smoking, you gotta be crazy. You gotta be nuts to be smoking on top of that. And you gotta stop fast. And I tell you something, there's some substances in smoke, in cigarette, that accelerates the damage to the blood vessels. Accelerates the damage to the blood vessels. In addition, somebody who is diabetic, high blood pressure, they have to have a healthy diet. A healthy diet can definitely reduce the risk of kidney disease by keeping the blood pressure under control, by reducing the amount of salt, and also by reducing the amount of cholesterol in the diet, and also the excess sugar. So a balanced diet, plenty of fruits and vegetables, at least 5 portions of fruits and vegetables a day. Oh God, it's so critical. Meals that include starchy foods, foods with high fiber. I'm talking about sweet potato, whole grain, whole grain bread, pasta. You're supposed to have some dairy alternatives, but beans, fish, eggs, and meat as a source of protein, all these are still good, but low levels of saturated fat, salt, and sugar, low levels, that's where you gotta control. You may also be given advice about dietary changes that could help you in terms of the the certain other substances in your diet, potassium and also phosphate. In addition to a healthy diet, you also have to manage alcohol intake. When we talk about chronic disease, chronic kidney disease, drinking excessive amounts of alcohol, which we're all doing around this time. This is my birthday, so I'm expected to be drinking a lot of alcohol today, tonight, and so forth, you know? But I'm not going to, right? But drinking excess amounts of alcohol can cause your blood pressure and your cholesterol to also rise. And so sticking to the recommended limits of alcohol, one drink, we understand, but persons who train down half a case of beer each day and a lot of strong rum and whatever other types of rum. Now, men and women can you should not be drinking more than a certain amount of alcohol each week. They said no more than 2 units of drinks a day, or no more than 40 in a week. You may want me to say it should be 0. I think it should be 0. You may say it should be at least 1, Doc. Okay, it could be 1. The recommended is no more than 2 a day or no more than 14 a week. But you'll be surprised the amount of alcohol people consume. You'll be surprised. And so you have to spread your drinking over a certain number of days if you have to. And I should be saying don't drink at all, but I'm realistic, right? If you drink as much as 14 units a week, you should be spreading this. Be very, very careful about this. 14 units is equivalent to 6 pints of beer or 10 small glasses of low-strength wine. 14 units does not mean 14 drinks. You understand that? 6 pints of average strength beer is 14 units. Well, I'm saying to you that 1 pint of beer every 2 or so days. That's what I'm really saying. Do you know a lot of people who drink much more than that? And then 10 glasses of low-strength wine, that's about 3/4 of a glass a day over a 2-week period. But more so, the spirits, the equivalent to that is about 1 shot of strong rum, or 2 or 3 brandies. And you have to be very, very, very careful with these things. Now, I've always talked about exercise. Exercising regular, helps keeping your blood pressure down. Because remember I said to you, the 2 big things that are pushing kidney illness is diabetes and hypertension. So exercise is one of those things that helps to bring down your blood pressure. And it also burns up some sugar if you exercise regularly. And so about 150 minutes or 2 hours, right, and 30 minutes of moderate intense exercise such as cycling or fast walking, every week is recommended. Well, that works out 2.5 hours. That means that doing half an hour a day is what you really want to do. You know, if you can't do it every day, then you got to do a couple more time on the days that you are doing. Now, I mentioned to you about over-the-counter medication. Kidney disease can be caused by taking too many non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. What I'm talking about, Advil, ibuprofen, is the same thing. Aspirin, all these other things, and taking them for a longer period than recommended. So the doctor gives you, because you sprained an ankle, he tells you to take these ibuprofens for 10 days and it should be okay. But after 10 days, you still have a niggling pain, but you don't want to go back to the doctor because you have to pay the doctor another $80, $90. So you go to the pharmacy and say, I want some ibuprofen. He gives you another 30 days. And you take them and you keep on taking them. You take them for another 2 months, 3 months. You go get refills. Somebody, a cousin, send you some down in a barrel. You're just taking them. I want to tell you that these non-steroidal, not in everybody, but in some people, can end up causing kidney disease, chronic kidney disease, and damage the kidneys. So we could say there's a calculation that you can do to look at the risk of developing kidney disease in another 5 years. And it's really important that you not only get tested, that you monitor the blood pressure, that you exercise regularly, that you manage your blood sugar, that you eat a balanced diet with the right things, that you stay well hydrated, that you stop smoking, and you limit the over-the-counter medication to no more than 10 days. And you don't go out and start taking a whole set of other things. Now, the question you may well ask me is, what foods in general should I be taking? I tell you, it's simple. What we say is that, and St. Vincent's quite lucky. You know, yes, we can take a break now? Yeah, let's take the break now and then we'll come back and we will finish this up.
People's Pharmacy, for all your pharmaceutical, skin and body care needs. Located on Grenville Street in Kingstown. They open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday. Call them today at 784-456-1170. People's Pharmacy also stock vitamins and supplements, personal care items, toiletries, children and adult pampers, and much, much more. And of course, get your prescriptions filled by a friendly and professional pharmacist. People's Pharmacy. Come in today and let us serve you.
Yes. We were just in a break. We were talking about not realizing when your kidneys fail, what really happens. And I said in diabetes and those, your kidneys really start to shrivel up. You're sometimes lucky. There are many other conditions that can affect your kidney, some genetic conditions. And so they might affect one kidney and not the other. And that's good when you have one kidney, because the one kidney you have still going could do the job. One kidney can do the job. But when two kidneys start getting damaged, oh boy, two of them start shriveling up, two of them start having problems, that's when you start having some serious problems.
Dr. Thompson, I think I was told that once your kidney starts going bad, right, it's a matter of trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Slow down the process, because they would eventually get to the point where, I mean, they're no good. So it's not a case where you okay, is there a case where your kidneys start going bad and you can like save it, like take medication to get it back to 100%?
Yes. Now, let me answer that question very carefully. I hope people, it's a very important question. The Lord made us with two kidneys. And with having two kidneys, it's like having a couple of spare tires in your trunk of your car. You don't have one spare tire, you have two. So if you get two blowouts, you can change that and go. You know, if you have two blowouts and you have one spare, you're still stuck. So having two kidneys, if one kidney goes bad, let's say you get into a road traffic accident and the car come and hit you and it lash you here. Or suppose you get into a fight and somebody use a sharp device like a knife and stabs you, or you get shot and it goes through your kidneys. They might have to remove that kidney and you're left with just the other kidney. The other kidney will work just as good as two. Just like having a spare tire, just like having two spare tires, you're all right, you're okay. Functioning on one kidney isn't a bad, isn't. Yeah. Now, that's if that kidney is a normal kidney. Now, when two kidneys are bad, at some stage, their functioning can start dropping below 50%. But even at 50%, you're still okay. You know? You're still all right. You know, it's still providing enough filtering. But when the kidneys function start dropping down to 25, 20%, that's when you start having problems. Remember, the kidneys are getting rid of excess water. They're getting rid of all the toxic stuff. Imagine a muffler, you know? Imagine breathing the air that comes out from a car, from a bike, coming out of the muffler. All that carbon monoxide and so forth. You can be in trouble. Well, there are a host of toxic substances that are coming out in your urine that the kidneys are filtering. And guess what? We pee it out. That's why it's good not to drink pee. That's why it's a good thing you can't drink pee. You know, it's not going to be so good. A little water inside the pee, but there's no nutrients and so forth. I mean, if you're diabetic, there might be a little sugar inside there. But don't drink pee. You understand? Let me tell you that. But the important thing is that when the kidneys start getting worse, Kamal is absolutely right that you want to slow down that process of the kidneys getting worse. Maybe you want to try and halt the process of the kidneys getting worse. And if you can halt it at 80% functioning, you're all right. If you can halt it at 70, 60, 50%, you're still all right. You know what I mean? It's when you have started putting in the measures to halt it a little too late, and you've already lost a certain amount of kidney function that, you know, no, the kidney function could also bounce back a little bit. You understand? Depending on what is causing the problem. There's no doubt that if the pressure is so high and you reduce that pressure now to a good pressure, then the amount of damage isn't going to be there. You understand? And it's not so much that the kidneys recover, but it's not being damaged at that particular level. And sugar, similarly. And clearly, if on top of that, you haven't been drinking enough water to hydrate yourself, and your blood is thick and syrupy, and you've been drinking a whole set of alcohol, and you have been smoking a whole set of cigarettes. So could you understand that by controlling your sugar, controlling your pressure, stopping smoking, stop alcohol, stop the abuse by not being well hydrated, how you could change the dynamics of your kidneys and put it in a positive light? So the question is whether the kidneys will eventually go down the tube. For all of us, as we get older, our kidneys do deteriorate to some small degree. But for most of us, it is still functioning at 90-something, 80-something percent. What you don't want is for that ability of the kidney to function to start dropping into 30s and 40s, because what will happen, remember I said the kidneys gets rid of excess fluid, you then start to accumulate fluid in your body. You start to swell. You start to swell. Your legs start to swell. Your ankles start to swell. Water could start to appear in your belly. Water could start to appear in your chest, so that your lungs, as you try to breathe out and breathe in, your lungs are being restricted because there's water in your chest. And your lungs can't expand, so you get short of breath. Trying to climb Mackey's Hill, trying any hill, you become short of breath. Trying to lie down flat on your pillow, you find you are unable to lie down flat. And you will find that you have to sit up with 2, 3, 4 pillows behind you and sleep with your chest up in the air against the bedboard rather than lying down flat, because you can't lie down flat because there's water inside your chest around your lungs. Swelling is going to start taking place. But in addition, what happens, the toxic substances in your blood start to rise, start making your skin itchy. Come on, your skin starts getting itchy, you start scratching. You could change the coloration, you start looking pale and musky and so forth. But it's even worse. The toxic substances could now start to affect your bone marrow. Those toxic substances, they don't allow the red blood to develop. Yes, kid? Yeah? They don't allow your red blood cells to develop as fast. So you start becoming anemic. And you know, when you accumulate fluid in your body, you know what it does? It sends up your pressure. So high blood pressure causes chronic kidney disease, but chronic kidney disease will cause even more high blood pressure. Oh gosh, so this is why it's so important to, first of all, pick it up early, get tested. I'm not talking about testing like COVID or AIDS or whatever. I'm talking about a routine, simple test. Sometimes we just dip your urine, or sometimes we just draw a little bit of blood, and the doctor will be able to analyze it and could tell if you are on your way to developing chronic kidney disease. And we say that a stitch in time saves 9. A stitch in time saves 9. What is done very early, picking up what may be causing chronic kidney disease. In other words, picking up that you have diabetes, picking up you have pressure, picking up that, you know, certain things are taking place in your life, your habits, lack of exercise, alcohol, smoking, you don't drink water sufficiently to hydrate yourself. All these things start up. Now, I said that some people have been doing all this, and sadly, they've been self-medicating with certain medication, prescription medication and non-prescription medication. And when they take these things, it doesn't happen to everybody, but just for them, just their luck of the draw, those medications can damage their kidneys. There's a host of different medications, both good medication, bad medications, that have damaged kidneys. Sometimes the luck of the draw, some medications are notorious for causing that. And it is critical that you should know. But the first thing to start is at least. Now, because chronic kidney disease is something that takes a long time, 10, 15 years. Do you understand? Getting an annual test, getting a test at least once a year, getting it in January of each year. If next month, in a few days' time, you get a blood test and it seems okay, next year, in 2025, if you get a test again and it starts showing something, we would have picked it up very early. We would have picked it very early, and the doctor may be able to reinforce. Say, wait a minute, are you smoking? Hey, boy, doctor, I take a couple of puffs every now and again when I'm under a little stress, you know? And so, doc, how much strong rum you're taking? But boy, doc, boy, I love that stuff, boy. Me and the boys, you know? Are you been taking medication for any back pain or knee pain or so? Yeah, doc, I just go to the store and buy some ibuprofen, aspirin, and all that kind of stuff. I hear it's good, but I need to take it all the time. I'm saying all these things because the doctor may be able to advise you, stop that one, stop this one, or change this. A stitch in time can slow down the process. In relation to Kamal's question, that it doesn't mean that you are eventually going to end up having to go on dialysis. No. It means that you can do the correction and get it right. You know? You can do the corrective measures of stopping this or stopping that or increasing this and increasing that, and you can start getting it right. Chronic kidney disease is a disease we can pick up early, something that we can control, and we really could go a long way. I wonder how our ancestors used to deal with it. But in those days, they didn't have a lot of dialysis. They didn't have a lot of the new modern medication, new modern treatments we have. But it all starts with diagnosing this early, diagnosing it early. And I'm really hoping that we can reduce the amount of persons, the number of persons who have been developing chronic kidney disease. It used to be a very expensive process, dialysis. It's gotten a lot cheaper now. It's got a lot safer, and I'm really happy with that. I remember the days when there was a gentleman. His name is Day St. Henry. I don't think you ever heard of him. He lived in England. He left St. Vincent and had to go off to England because he had developed kidney failure. He was a teacher, and he had the gift of the gab. He was a comedian. He could talk and he could joke. And going to England, a number of people helped him initially, but he took charge. And he was able to get a dialysis machine in his home. And then he had several kidney transplants that did not take. They failed. For those people who are very lucky, when you have chronic kidney disease, depending on a cause of the kidney disease, you can have a kidney transplant. You need a kidney from somebody. And guess what? You ain't getting 2 kidneys from the person, you know. You're getting 1. Because remember, I told you 1 is enough. 1 is enough. And they're able to fit that kidney into your belly. You ain't had to take out the other 2 kidneys. They're smaller, right? So you put 1 in, and you're able to sew it up and tie it up. Let that now filter the blood. You connect that kidney to your bladder, so urine is able to come down. You connect the blood vessels to that kidney, so blood is going into that kidney. It's like changing a filter on a car, changing the oil filter. It's more sophisticated, but no, I tell you something. It's as simple these days, you know. All it is that the kidneys has to match. So if you put in the wrong kidney, your body's gonna say, that kidney, me don't like that. And your body can react and send out antibodies. Your immune system can reject it. And a number of people, so getting a kidney from your brother or your sister, your father, or very close relative is the best. Or getting it from somebody and the blood type has to be the same and all that kind of thing. You can't get somebody for the wrong blood. And so a lot of kidney transplants are done today. And it is something that's best avoided. Best avoided, because you could have that new kidney for a couple of years, but then that could fail too. Suppose you have diabetes. Suppose you have high blood pressure and you ain't controlling it. Do you think that new kidney isn't going to be damaged by the sugar and the pressure? If you smoke cigarettes or you take the non-prescription medication, you do the same, you go back to the same habits. You have to totally change your habits so as to make sure that new kidney does not really thing. And so, you know, it starts a lot with food. The type of food one is eating. But I've tried to point, and you know, by that I meant limiting the amount of excess sugar, limiting the amount of excess salt in your diet. All these things I have. But what I've tried to point out to you today, on top of that, exercising regularly is going to help to keep any pressure that might arise down. Like burn off some sugar too. Stop smoking. Don't take smoke that has these toxic substances in it. On top of that, alcohol. There's no need for alcohol, no to drown your sorrows or anything like that. In terms of hydration, having good perfusion, making sure your blood is flowing smoothly, not syrupy, not thick, is so critical. And then that over-the-counter stuff, know what you're taking. So with that, this last show of 2023, it happens to be on my birthday. And, you know, I want to wish all those persons who have birthdays on the 27th or from now until the end of the year, you know, happy birthday to them, and wish everybody a happy new year. You know, it's always been a pleasure doing these shows. We didn't get any calls today, but I'm sure there are persons listening, and I'm hoping I might have helped you and enlightened you in some way about chronic disease. Next year, we're going to kick it off again, early in the new year. Kamal, I don't think I'll see you before the end of the year. You know, happy new year, you know, and all the best, and good evening and good night.
And thank you very much, Dr. Gerald Thompson. Always a pleasure having you on a Wednesday. And let me just say once again, happy birthday to you. I don't know if you finished enjoying it, celebrating.
Oh, I'm not going to say that. I did whisper to you what I am going to do something, but I think you wanted me to reveal it on air. Right?
I don't want you to tell that.
But journalists, they put some things to you. Okay, all the best.
All the best to you. Take care. All the best.
People's Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical, skin, and body care needs. Located on Grenville Street in Kingstown. They open 8 a.m.